In other news, the International Criminal Court at The Hague has started key pre-trial hearings for former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte. Judges are deciding whether there is enough evidence against him to proceed to trial for crimes against humanity linked to his deadly war on drugs. The hearings will take place over 4 days. 80-year-old Duterte was not present in the courtroom, having waived his right to appear. His defense team says his memory is failing and he is not fit to attend proceedings, though judges ruled that he was able to take part. Duterte, who was president of the Philippines from 2016 to 2022, was arrested in Manila last March. He has since been held at the ICC's detention unit in the Netherlands. In Manila, dual protests have been underway ahead of the hearings, one backing the former president and the other in support of the victims from his deadly war on drugs. And for more, Maria Ronson, who is covering this story for CNA, joins us live from Metro Manila. Now, Maria, what should we look out for in the first day of the pre-trial hearing? Do we expect any key decisions to be made at this point?
Well, after being held in detention in The Hague for almost a year, finally the confirmation hearings on charges of crimes the former president of the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, allegedly committed when he was mayor of Davao and when he was leader of the country has finally begun. The case formally called the Prosecutor versus Rodrigo Duterte proceeded, as you had mentioned earlier, without him in attendance after the court agreed to waiver for him to appear in person, a decision both the prosecution and the families of the victims were not happy to hear, as a panel of medical experts had already deemed him in January to be fit to appear in court. The pre-trial chamber, composed of 3 judges, took confirmation of the members of the team of the prosecution and the defense before all the charges against Duterte were read out. The lead judge, Julia Antonella Motoc, reiterated that the goal of the one-week hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to establish substantial grounds to believe that Duterte committed the crimes being charged against him. She also reminded everyone of the importance or the belief in someone's innocence unless proven guilty. So the burden on proof of guilt rests on the evidence that the prosecutor will present in the coming days. She also stressed that there should be no mention of names of the alleged victims or witnesses to ensure their safety. Will there be any key decisions or discoveries to be made? So much has been written about the charges leveled against Duterte. The first days are likely to echo those allegations of Duterte's alleged impunity to commit the crimes which the office of the prosecutor, represented by Man Majeng Niang, asserted in his presentation, that they were apparently well coordinated and planned, that he was apparently the architect of these orders, using fear and intimidation to ensure they were followed. The discoveries could manifest itself in what the defense, led by Nicholas Kaufman, will lay out to make sure his client, the former president, will be exonerated from the crimes he is accused of, and how the defense will counter the allegations by families of those who were apparently killed in the president's war on drugs. Duterte is the first Asian former head of state to appear before the ICC. He remains hugely popular in the Philippines, where many were in favor of his tough approach to crime and supported his war on drugs. In his opening statement, Kaufman lionized him and Duterte's humble beginnings and blamed the Philippine media why he is where he is, in jail, in The Hague, as his supporters gathered outside the court demanding his release from detention.
Yeah, and meanwhile, we know that there are multiple rallies taking place in both the Philippines and also abroad in relation to this hearing. Why is there such a strong, and some might say polarizing, reaction to all of this?
Well, these alleged crimes against humanity have led to the loss of many lives. The true number of killings is thought to be in the thousands. People want guilt to be established, and quickly, and those responsible to be punished. Various protests were held all day to also bring focus to families, not only of politicians, but of families of the victims of the alleged extrajudicial killings, or EJK. An event called Patungong Panghilom, translated towards healing, is streaming the court proceedings in The Hague. And relatives of some victims of the alleged extrajudicial killings under the Duterte administration took part and told CNA they're hopeful that the ICC probe will bring them closure. Let's listen to what they had to say.
Sana magtuloy-tuloy itong dinadasal namin. Siguro sa dami ng nagdadasal, magtuloy-tuloy na itong inaano namin, pinapangarap namin sa lahat ng mga biktima ng AJP. Kasi hindi lang naman isa-sampu ang biktima dito, marami po. Pero sa bawat isa sa amin, yun ang hinihiling, yun ang dinadasal. Na mabigyan kami ng katarungan.
Kung ako tatanungin nyo, buhay ang kinuha nila, buhay din ang kabayaran. Hindi ko kailangan ng pera kasi kaya ko naman po maghanap buhay. Sa totoo lang, 4 po yung anak ko. Nataguyod ko po sila nang ako lang. Nagmamasad therapy po ako, tapos namamasukan ako ng labandera. Lahat pinasok ko yan para sa mga anak ko, tapos papatayin lang nila.
Maria, thank you so much for that update. That was Maria Ronson covering this story for CNA from Metro Manila.